Welcome back to Yev's Builds. If you're searching up this video, that means you kind of need some help changing your oil in your E46 M3. We all start somewhere, and this is going to be a very easy and simple job using only the best of the best, so stick around. First up, you want to jack up the car. If you don't have a jack, don't know what to tell you, figure something out. But jack it up, take your oil cap and remove it. This way we get some sort of airflow and we create quicker drainage. You get underneath the car, you grab one of these tubs, you can pick them up literally anywhere. Slide that sucker over. Typically, to drain the oil in M3, a stock M3 is gonna have a 6mm hex, right, an Allen. You remove that and you drain the oil, obviously. In my case, it's a little bigger, it's a 17mm, simply because I had a stripped bolt and we had to make a bigger opening for this. It's nicer because I can drain oil much quicker now. And this is where the real professionalism comes in. The less oil you can get on your fingers, the more times you've done this, I'm assuming. Oh, wow, didn't do it enough!
Professional, man.
What I like to do to make the oil drain as quick as possible and as much of it as possible, I like to lower the car as much as possible right before it hits the oil, not the pan, but the bucket. Simply because you get more angle. See how much more flow there is now? And that way you ensure that you get most of the bad oil out of your engine as possible. Now we come up to the front, we're going to be replacing the oil filter. To replace the oil filter, you got to unplug the sensor, push on it, pull it out, solid. Take a 13mm socket, unscrew this long bolt, prepare a little rag because it's going to get a little bit messy. Like that. Then you want to remove this cap. Wipe it dry. You see this giant O-ring right here? We're going to be replacing that. Wix provides you with a new giant O-ring for this cap. Take a little pick tool or something, or flathead, and just pry it out. Wipe down the area where the O-ring sits. It'll be nice and dry and clean. Just like so. Take your new O-ring. Boom. That's on there. Take the box from the new oil filter, is what I like to do. Take the old oil filter out. Make sure every last bit of oil drains out so you wouldn't get anything else dirty. That's out, put it away, throw it in the trash. Wipe off this area, so it'll be nice and clean. Surface area. Take your new filter. With the M3s, actually, it's pretty cool. It doesn't matter which way it goes in, it's all the same. So pop that sucker in, boom, take your oil cap, put that over it, put this new washer over it for the bolt. So you see how this bolt, right, comes with a little tiny little O-ring. I don't know how many people replace these. I do, since the Wix kit actually comes with this little O-ring also. There it is. You replace this little O-ring and then put the bolt back in. Just do it tight, not too tight, feel it out. You don't want to be the guy who strips this bolt, you know what I mean? Before we put the drain bolt back on, make sure you replace your washer. If you buy an oil filter, in my case, Wix always provides new washers. Let's replace that washer and screw it back in. Wipe your area clean and start torquing down the bolt. Don't over tighten it. Be careful. Plug the sensor back in. And we're about to pour in new oil. Less than a year ago, I rebuilt this head. You can see how nice and white everything is on the inside. It's the color of aluminum, it's not brown. That is beautiful. That is good to see. And for that reason, I actually use 5W-50 Redline. I know BMW recommends Castrol 10W-60. This oil right here. I stopped using it a little while ago. Every badass M engine builder that I know of recommends using Redline 5W-50, and for good reasons. A lot of M cars have rod bearing not really issues, but they have pretty thin clearances for rod bearings, right? 10W-60, what BMW recommends, is actually thicker oil than 5W-50. There's a few bad sides to that. 5W-50, this is not an ad, by the way, this is not an ad placement. I'm just saying, I'm trying to help you prevent issues with your M engine. Redline 5W-50 is actually thinner, which means it warms up quicker, but also it stays cooler because it's thinner. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I use 5W-50, and so far I had literally no issues with this. If I'm being honest, I did notice my engine oil temperature stayed quite a bit lower when I started using 5W-50. When I was using 10W-60, the engine would be almost at 210 the entire time. and that's normal, but it's high. These S54 M3 engines require about 5.8 quarts of oil. Usually when I'm doing an oil change, I pour in about 5.5, just because the engine obviously still has a tiny bit of oil left in it, and you don't want to overflow just because there's going to be more wear on all the little seals and whatnot. So you don't want to do that. A little trick I like to use when I'm filling up the engine with oil. Notice the shape of this bottle, right? Very narrow, very pointy. If you notice, when you're trying to pour in this oil, can't really go fast. It's gonna be gurgling out like that, right? Can't really do it really fast. I mean, it just takes a little bit longer to fill it up like this. Take a little straw like this, stick it in, and this way, when you're filling up the engine with oil, you create a little bit of airflow, and that way it pours in nice and smooth, and it doesn't get stuck anywhere, and it's all good. Look how much nicer and smooth it pours in now. Just like that. Quick, easy, and simple. Cover up your cap again, lock it up. Nice. Start up your car, let it run for a little bit, let the oil warm up, and that is pretty much it. Once the oil temperature warms up quite a bit, you can shut the car off and let it sit there for a little bit. Let the oil drain, let it sit for 10-15 minutes. Check your dipstick. If it's not enough oil, add some more. If it's enough, then you're solid and you're good to go, dude. I'm just saying, but that's it for this quick little video. Make sure to subscribe, because if you're not aware yet, we are rebuilding a full V10 for an E46. We're gonna be swapping that in. I just did a pretty big job on a E39 M5. I'm just saying there's gonna be a lot of content, so stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Peace.